This was one of the most incredible, yet slightly overwhelming Bonnaroos I've ever personally experienced. "Oh my gosh, are you the Bonnaroo Yearbook guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." There was like a 3 or 4 hour line all coming to sign the yearbook, which was so surreal. I sold out of books like the day after I got back from Bonnaroo. And this man pulls out a freaking calligraphy pen that he had on him.
Welcome back to the What Podcast. I'm Barry. That's Brian. You'll notice we have a special guest who looks nothing like Lord Taco. Not at all. Longtime listeners, viewers will recognize Caleb. Man, how are you? Welcome back.
Dude, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me back. Third time. All right. So
Are
excited
you?
to
Are
be
you
back.
three
And
times? Oh man, we're gonna have to get one of
yeah.
those Saturday Night Live like jackets or something pretty
Yeah, right.
soon, aren't we?
Yeah. Once I hit five
The
times, that's
Five
where the
Timers
jersey
Club.
comes in.
Man, from the looks of it, we all had a great Bonnaroo, but I'm pretty sure you had a pretty freaking great Bonnaroo this year. Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
You're not wrong at
I'm not
all.
wrong.
This was one of the most incredible, yet slightly overwhelming Bonnaroos I've ever personally experienced, but in a good way.
So, quick recap. When did you well, let's do this. When did you first go? And then when was your first time on our show?
Yeah, so my first time I went to Bonnaroo was in 2023. I went solo and was not fully prepared for the full experience, but my camping neighbors took care of me, and I was doing the Bonnaroo Yearbook project for the first time. And the first time I was on y'all's show was, I want to say, before Bonnaroo 2025. So, like,
Yeah.
maybe a couple months leading up to Bonnaroo 2025 was the first time I came on here and started talking about the projects because I had the 2024 yearbook already done at that point.
You had people lined up all
Oh my
weekend, right?
gosh.
Following you around.
Yeah. So I got there on Wednesday, which is as early as I could get access into the farm. And this was the first year I went to will call to pick up my tickets. So I wasn't able to get in line as early as I maybe would have wanted to. So I got to will call around, I want to say maybe 7:30 or 8 a.m. ish and picked up my tickets. And then my younger brother, Joshua, who actually ended up going with me this year, um, he wasn't going in till Thursday. He had Thursday entry. So I actually had to pick up his ticket from will call because it was under my name and then hide it for him behind a building. So he had to go on like a little scavenger hunt to go and get his ticket. So I had to like hide the ticket behind an AC unit behind a building kind of a thing. Be like, here's where it is. You got to find it. And then I got in
That's
line and I think
funny.
I had camp set up around, I want to say like 1 o'clock PM. And then as I was setting up my campsite, all of my neighbors that were immediately next to me all knew who I was and what the project was that I was doing, which was a surreal feeling. Like just getting to the farm and everyone having kind of a rough idea of what it is that I'm doing that I was camping next to. That was a first for me. So that was really cool. And then on Wednesday, the Hulu live stream team wanted to do like a feature of me and my project. So I actually trekked out to the Rue bus and met up with the Hulu live stream team, and they did like a whole segment on me and my project, which was super cool. And then as soon as I got driven back, they gave me a ride back on the golf cart back to my campsite, and they dropped me off maybe about a row away from my car. And when they dropped me off, I immediately got out of the cart and like two people came up and they were like, "Oh my gosh, are you the Bonnaroo Yearbook guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And so they came, they started signing, and I was looking at the cameras and kinda giving them, like, a little outro kind of a situation, and then I turn around, and there's, like, 15 people all huddled around waiting to sign the book, and I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And then I ended up staying on that spot on the side of the road, just out in campgrounds for, like, 2 hours. It got dark, and I just had people coming and coming and coming and coming. to sign the book, and that's when I was really like, "It's Wednesday." And I've been on the
Yeah.
side of the road getting signatures for, like, 2 hours, all from people just coming up, recognizing me, and wanting to sign the yearbook, and that just happened for the rest of the festival. And on Thursday, the very next day, there was, like, a 3 or 4-hour line of people from 11 a.m. to
Yeah.
3:30 PM all coming to sign the yearbook, which was so surreal. So, yeah, it really
I'm
blew
Well,
up
gonna
this
that's
past
Brian's gonna
year.
certain.
jump in, but you brought some of them with you to our little panel discussion. You came up and said, "Hey, I want you guys," and then you said, "Sorry, but I have these people behind me," and I felt so bad because we jumped
Oh.
the line, so to speak. So,
Well,
but go
I
ahead,
actually
Brian.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
on the
There's so
other
much.
side of the tent from you guys on Thursday, and I actually had to leave my meetup, in the Grove to go and catch y'all's podcast, and so I made my way in there, and I just wanted to watch y'all. Like, I just wanted to watch you guys do your thing, and I was on one side of the tent, like, if you're on the stage, I was off to the left side,
Yeah, yeah.
and, uh, as soon as I showed up at that little table and had the book out and people started signing, a line started forming at the tent. And then you guys finished your podcast, and I saw you guys over at the table across the tent from me, and I was like, "Oh, I need their
Right.
signatures, like, I need them to sign the book." So I was like, "Okay, guys, we're gonna make a little conga line, we're gonna go over to that table so I can get their signatures real quick, and then you guys can keep signing." So I came over, got y'all's signatures, and then the line just kept going.
Well, for the record, I didn't feel bad about breaking the line whatsoever. I felt quite honored to be able to jump to the front of the line. Caleb, I am a little hung up though here on what the very beginning of all this, and it has nothing to do with anything. We can drop it shortly. You hid a wristband
Yeah, I know, right?
behind
That sounded
an.
like such Brian Stone, good and bad. I could see
I know.
you stumbling across one, finding it, but I can also see you hiding one and it getting
Both.
picked up.
Both. Like I would totally do this,
Yeah,
except I would be riddled with anxiety for the
Oh,
rest of
yeah.
the day that this
good,
isn't going to work.
fair
Would
point.
you just
Some
don't spend a lot of
dog, some
time
raccoon would find it.
anything. Freon sucks it up into the damn exhaust. Just
Uh,
what did you look over your shoulder 10 times? I mean,
Oh,
don't spend a
yeah.
lot of time on
Yeah,
this, but
100%. And
just
what's
one
even
more comment on this.
so I'll give you a little tiny backstory into, like, how this all happened too. So I was planning on going with someone else, but that someone else ended up not being able to come that year. And so I was like, "Hey, Joshua, my younger brother, do you want to go to Bonnaroo this year?" So for him, it was really last minute send. He was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, I'd love to. Like, are you kidding me? A free
Okay.
ticket to Bonnaroo? Like, okay, yeah, sure." And then one of my all-time supporters, Tim Myers, and I know he's listening to this, so shout out Tim Myers. He's my number one supporter of this project, and he hit me up, like, a week before, and he was like, "Hey, I have a camping pass for Area 931 if you wanna, like, join us in camping." So, I
That's
ended
a
up
hell of an
meeting up
upgrade.
Yeah. So, I ended up meeting up with him to pick up the pass, but it was Thursday entry. So, I wanted to be there on Wednesday. So, I ended up just
Yeah.
keeping my GA Wednesday camping pass and just doing GA over near the Groves where I ended up being parking-wise. And then I gave Joshua the Area 931. So, in this little tiny box, I had
And it was an Area 931 sitting
an
over
Area
there.
931
nice.
sticker, an Area 931 wristband, and a GA wristband. So, I mean, this was an expensive little
Yeah.
package to hide for my
Nice.
brother. And so when I got there on Wednesday and I picked up the ticket, I had already met up with Tim to pick up the Area 931 sticker. So I had that already. And I don't know if you know those like black storage totes with like the yellow tops on them, kind of a thing. They're like the
Mhm.
kind of industry standard tote
Sure.
kind of a thing.
Sure.
And he had a little mini version of one of those that he gifted to me with some trinkets when I originally met up with him. And so I put the wristband and the sticker and the 931 wristband all in this like little miniature tote kind of a thing. And I have a video of this somewhere on my phone. I'll send it to you guys so you can put it in here too.
Do it. We
But
got
then
to see
I
this.
but then I hid it underneath. It was like this. maybe 5 minutes away from the high school where I picked up the wristbands. It just looked kinda like an abandoned, empty-ish lot kind of a thing. Like, imagine almost like a strip of just kind of businesses. It looked kinda
A
run
brown
down and
field.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go and see if there's like just behind this building, see if there's any security cameras or anyone watching. I looked around, there was like some train tracks behind it, and I didn't see any security cameras and no one was watching. And so I went behind one of the AC units and just like took this little tiny plastic tote with all this essential goods for his
And it sat there
experience.
for a day, right? It sat there for a full day,
Let's
right?
think about this. The largest hippie fest in the country is going on, and you go into a brown field and hide a
Yeah.
package. You're
Yeah,
lucky you
that's literally what it was. I mean, it
you're
felt like,
lucky you
a James Bond, like, dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
dun kind of a situation,
It's
and
not
then
like you're doing
what was
anything
even
illegal at
crazier
all. Probably
no,
didn't
right?
look
No,
suspicious at
seriously,
all.
it felt so suspicious. And then what was even crazier is I was trying to send him the video of where it was, but my signal was really bad, and, like, the video wasn't sending, so I was, like, trying to call him, trying to make sure the video goes through, ended up having to call my dad to get in contact with him to make sure that he got it. It was like a whole
Yeah.
thing, and,
You're
I was like, "Oh my
you're right, Barry. You're right. This I can be on either end of this because I'm the guy that goes snooping behind buildings and looking for shit under
Yep.
air conditioning units.
Yep.
So I can, hey
Guess what
guys,
I
look what I found.
guess what I'm doing next year.
Would have been a heck of a ground score, I'll tell you that."
Yeah,
That
exactly.
Yeah,
is funny. That is
yeah,
funny. Real quickly, go backwards real quick, Caleb, and talk about when you first did this. Not the entire uh, backstory. We've told
sure.
it on here a lot that you were using it as a way to socialize more and those kinds of things. But talk about the experience of getting those signatures and people's willingness to do it, as opposed to where we are now, which we're in the middle of talking about how explosive of a idea this has turned into. But
Yeah,
what was it like 4 years ago when you were people like, wait, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
am I signing my life away here? I mean,
right.
talk about that experience 4 years ago.
Sure, so my first Bonnaroo, I decided to finally make, like, a printed version of this kind of, like, fun project that I would do just to meet people at festivals.
Can I jump? Because I think Bonnaroo is not your first.
No,
You
Bonnaroo was not my
started this
first time. Yeah,
at another yeah, was it Lala
yeah.
or,
Yeah, so Lollapalooza
Coachella?
in
Which one? Lala?
2021 was the first time I, like, actually filled a notebook full of signatures. That was my first, like, kind of big accomplishment with this, like, little bit that I was doing. But back in 2019 at my first music festival, which happened to be Coachella, I got invited by some friends to go out there. That was the first time I got the idea to do it as a way to meet people, just to approach people and, ask them to sign it. And that's where the concept kind of was born for me. And then 2021 Lollapalooza was the first time I like actually filled it all out. And then Bonnaroo 23 was the first year I was like, I'm gonna make this into a printed book. So when I was going around Bonnaroo the first time, it was constantly having to pitch this concept to people like, hi, would you guys like to sign the Bonnaroo
So
yearbook?
you
And
got
they'd
to
be like,
pitch it
"Oh,
over and
yeah,
over
sure."
again.
And I had to tell people like, "Hey, I'm turning this into a printed book." And at first, I was calling it Festi Books, but with an X at the end. So it's like FESTIBOOX was my website handle and my Instagram handle at the time, and I didn't really have any proof of concept for this book because I never made one. So people just kinda had to trust me, A, that I was gonna fill the whole book up, and B, that I was actually gonna make a printed book by the end of it because I didn't have any proof that I could make a book, at that time. And so it
Sure,
was just a
sure.
lot of going around and just telling people, "Hey, would you like to sign this book?" And also, if you go to this website, you can get a copy of the final thing and just having to word of mouth it to people. And towards the end of the festival, honestly, I started giving up trying to pitch it to people and just getting signatures because I was like, I'm tired of pitching this all the time. Because it's like I met a
Yeah.
thousand
Just sign it.
plus people
Yeah.
at Bonnaroo my first year. And so having to give the same spiel 1,000 times honestly kinda got old.
I
Um,
bet.
and
Sure.
so some of the experiences was just getting signatures from people and little drawings and stuff like that. And then this year, it was people just finding me and wanting to sign and wanting to be a part of it and be a part of the legacy of the yearbook project. And people got so excited when they like came across me in the wild. It was like, "Oh, here you are," kind of a thing. So the from the beginning of having to go around and tell everybody what it is and trying to pitch this idea essentially to people trying to find me and me becoming like a little hidden side quest throughout the festival, is such a huge difference, from where it first started.
And I reached out to you, last week because I want a do-over, because I told you my signature sucks, and I wanna cover it up and do it again. But you said, who is it has the prettiest signature?
Oh, Bryan has, I think, the
Brian
contender for the
Stone.
best freaking here, I'll pull it up right now. I have the book with me, from this year, and I'm gonna pull it up and show you just what I mean. I'm not
You
just
guys are
tooting your
Wow.
gonna be
horn. I think you
surprised.
genuinely have one of the prettiest signatures in this book. Let me make sure I can find it here real quick.
You guys are gonna
And
be
I'll tell you a
surprised.
funny story while I'm finding this page. So when Bryan, I asked him to sign it, he went to go pull out his own pen, and I was like, "Oh, no Sharpies, please," because I have
Yeah, you said no
pens that are,
Sharpie.
I have my dedicated yearbook pens that don't bleed and this and that. And so I was like, I want to make sure, he's not using something that's going to bleed through all the pages, kind of a situation. And this man pulls out, here it is, a freaking calligraphy pen that he
There
had on him. I mean, are you so for real? Like,
Yep,
that was one of the coolest things I had ever seen, just pulling out a calligraphy
my
pen out of your
man.
pocket and signing in
Mr.
this
Grumpy
beautiful
himself carries
calligraphy.
his own
I
calligraphy
was
pen.
like, "That's so sick." Like, this might honestly just
Well,
be
first of
the
all,
most beautiful signature in the book.
first of all, Caleb, thank you for the compliment. First of all, but I was actually worried as you said no Sharpies. I mean, I know what you're talking about. You don't want the bleed. You want to control the situation here, make sure you don't have any hiccups in production and all that. But the only way I could have done that was with the pen that I brought because it's a specific calligraphy pen. And I'm not going to say I learned calligraphy just for this. Eddie Vedder does calligraphy, by the way, Barry. You'll think that's hilarious. So that's where I started doing it when he would write out his set lists in calligraphy. And in boredom at work, I would just start writing in the last year, just boredom.
Yeah.
But and eventually I started to really like it, and I'm okay. I wouldn't say I'm great at it, I'm okay. And as you said, "Oh, no, no Sharpies," I thought, "Well, I'm just gonna take a chance here and just kinda boldly just still do it," and I'm like, "I think this pen might be as heavy as a Sharpie as far as ink.
No,
I don't
no, no,
know."
it didn't bleed,
Okay.
so it's okay. It was
Okay.
fine.
Good, good, good.
Yeah.
But I was willing to take that chance because I was like, I've been thinking about it. I was like, I'm going to put I haven't been able to show off this little mini skill in much at all. And so I was like, I'm going to get this in Caleb's book, and that's why I brought the pen with me. I was afraid I wouldn't make it home with it. I did, but I'm glad
Good.
to hear it didn't bleed because
No.
I'm dead serious. I thought, "Oh, no, it's gonna bleed right through the page
Well,
because
not
you
only
gotta press down kinda hard. You gotta
Yeah,
press down kinda
yeah.
hard when you do it, so."
yeah.
No, it was
Well, it
perfect.
it shamed me because I think I saw your reel or something, Caleb, that next week or whatever, and I was like, "Ooh, I forgot that Stone did calligraphy. That looks good and mine sucks."
Well, to be fair, Lord Taco probably had the messiest one. He might go on the hump page with the page where
Oh,
it's full of
nice.
all the signatures of, like, I have no idea what that person wrote. Like, I could barely even read it. Hold on. This is the page he might show
Well,
up in. This is,
in the past years, I just slapped a picture of my face on it and moved along.
That's what I wish I had done. I think I said, "Bonnaroo changes lives. Ask Caleb, ask me." I'm not
Yeah,
unhappy with what I
Lord
said, but
Taco might end up on this page. The "huh?"
Oh, this is
page.
that huh? Ah, that's funny. So
Yeah.
you've got a whole page dedicated to slop.
Like, I can't read
Nice.
that, like, "I love you, mwah, thanks for contributing." I don't know what that says. Yeah, I know
That's
it's him, but it's
funny.
hard to read. Yeah, but you had a beautiful
Yeah, that's where
signature too,
I was
Brian.
gonna go next. So for people who are not familiar with the book, it is patterned after a classic high school yearbook, right? You've
Mhm.
got
Yep.
photos, you've got signatures, you've got, notes to, "Hey, Caleb, great to meet you, have a great year, stay the same, never change," all that stuff that we all wrote in
Tags, yeah,
everybody's
Yeah.
yearbook.
the S
But you've
things.
also
Yeah.
got, what, accolades and best of,
Yeah.
superlatives? There
Superlatives.
it is,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Fun
Yeah, it's awesome.
facts. There's an I Spy sections, all the trinkets that people give me, get turned into like a rhyming puzzle style photograph, and you could go in and find your trinkets. And speaking of trinkets, I don't want to
Yep,
get too off
speaking of
topic here,
trinkets.
but I just want to show off a couple of them real quick, just a few. First of all, this one. Okay, this
Made of
is a
you,
little
right?
miniature version of me. And if you know enough about my lore, this is the totem that I made for the I Spy Halloween book that I did for Halloween last year. It's also got a little miniature version of my hat. It says the Rue Yearbook on there, and it's got like little pins and stuff. And it's like kind of the same shape and style as my hat. It's got like all the little clips and stuff on there. It's got my glasses. It's got a little miniature Bonnaroo Yearbook in there with, like,
Oh
pages you
my
can
god.
actually open and flip
Nice.
through. It's got my green
Oh
cape
my
on there.
gosh.
It also has my flow star, a little miniature version of my flow star, and it came in this really cute hand-painted box. So that's one that I really
Wow.
wanted to show off, that I thought was
Now,
just, like, so incredible. Like, what?
when and where was that gifted to you? Because somebody had to not only make it and spend a lot of time doing it, but they had
Yeah,
to hope they were gonna meet with you and see
yeah,
you. How did that work?
And carry it
Carry it
around
around, yeah, yeah.
basically all the time. Yeah.
yeah. So I had 2 meetups scheduled for Bonnaroo this year, which I next year I'm gonna
Oh,
do
like
probably one
sanctioned,
for
like
every day.
scheduled. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I said, "I'm gonna be at the Grove on Thursday for 2 hours." Ended up being there for 4 hours. And then I had a meetup on Saturday as well in group camping. Super Group was hosting a carnival, and so they asked if I would come and join them for their carnival, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'd love to be there." And so those were, like, the 2 public meetups that I said, "If you wanna come and find me 100%, I'm gonna be at these 2 places at these times on this date." And so the Saturday meetup is where she came and brought this for me, but I just thought that was the cool. Oh, and
That's so
generally I
cool.
am wearing my glasses. I took them off for the interview because 'cause they're, like, kinda glary right now with the windows. But I
Nice.
just like, are you so for with the hat on, like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
how cool is that? Like, that's
I
so
mean,
sick.
I've got the candy, the wrist with my name, the What podcast on. It's amazing that the effort,
I mean, this
that
one
people have
too,
gone into. So
this
cool.
2026 Radiate
Oh,
Positivity, and then look at
that
this, wait for it.
That is cool. Oh
And it's
man.
got Caleb and Bonnaroo Yearbook on there, and it's like
That
this
is
whole
cool.
3D printed arch. Like, I love this thing. Like, shout out to SideQuest Grid
that
for
is
this
so
one. And
cool.
then I'll show you one more. This sprout right here. You know who that is? That's
I don't
me.
know. Well,
Th
it's
that's
you
me
is
with
what
the
it is.
yearbook. And then on the back of this sprout, it actually says, oh, that's not the right one. Oh, that's not the right one either. I'm doing this like in the can there we go. And then on the back of it, it says Bonnaroo Yearbook, which is so
That's
cool,
Wow.
and Route
very, very cool.
2026. So there were some like
I'm
really customized trinkets specifically for me that I was just like, what is going
Yeah,
on? Like, what is happening?
that's
It's
amazing.
crazy.
how much music did you miss that you wanted to see because you got hung up with your obligation? I bet you missed at least some.
So many. But here's my thing, like, for me, the community of Bonnaroo and interacting with people doing the yearbook project, and then, like, the music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the music is still great, don't get me wrong, like, I loved going and just, like, watching shows, but for me, what really gets me going is just having yearbook interactions. But where it was a little bit overwhelming was I would go and just sit down with somebody and start having them sign the yearbook, and then all of a sudden I would look over and there'd be like a line of people like waiting to sign the book, and it was like, whoa, okay. Like, I guess I'm here for the next 45 minutes to an hour now. And just trying to get anywhere throughout the festival was almost impossible unless I had like a full like gaiter and sunglasses and like took my wizard hat off, like and went incognito mode.
I was gonna ask a couple of things, 'cause, our friend David Bruce had similar situations. David is very distinctive with his hat and a camera. You know who he is. So he went out a couple of times without a hat or his camera because he just wanted to see a show, um, which is so crazy. Because 10, 12 years ago, and we had similar experiences, Caleb. We got the Live Nation crew followed us around as well. I wanna talk to you a little bit about that coming up, but walking through and having people stop us and say, "Hey, I listened to the podcast," whatever, is crazy, but it's amazing to me that there are so many of these stories. There's the Real Rubus, the Ruham guys, the Dude, um, David. I mean, all of these, I don't know what you'd call them, things that
Just
have
festival
sprung out of this
characters.
festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, festival
Yeah.
characters that people know, and, again, I'm jumping all around, but like Bryan, who I like you said, Bryan, I don't think you thought of you were gonna do sign your name and calligraphy in the yearbook, but you were prepared for it. When you ask people to sign the book, they think about it, right? They're not just like me and Russ who just sign our names. They sit down, they draw, they
Oh,
write,
yeah.
uh, poems. I mean, it's incredible, right?
I mean, it ranges anywhere from just like a little signature and a happy roo to, people spending 45 minutes and doing a whole page full of
Jeez.
stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a huge variety of, people putting in Polaroids, stickers, long messages, short messages. I'm a really big fan of this dragon um in here somewhere. Where'd it go? Oh, this is when we did the filming. Where's that dragon? I passed by. Oh, there we go. This dragon is
Wow.
crazy. Like, that
Wow.
took a lot of time.
That's
That was like
really
half
good.
an hour of going in and shading and doing all kinds of stuff to it. But it's like, that's a big section of the book. And there were so many people who
Yeah.
were like, "Ooh, I wanna sign next to the dragon." Like, that's really cool, and they become landmarks in the book, all these really cool
Yeah.
drawings. So I always encourage people, even during the meetups, like, take your time with it, put detail as much as you like.
How many pages is the book when you walk on the farm? 200, 300, 500? How many pages are in there?
So this was
Roughly, just
actually
roughly.
no, I know exactly how many pages this is. This is 110 pages, which is actually the fewest number of pages I've had in any of my books before.
I would immediately think that's not enough.
Oh, it
Like, I
barely
would
was.
immediately
I
think
mean,
that's not enough.
if you look through this book, I mean, it's so full. There's like not an empty spot really in this whole entire book. There's very few empty spaces anywhere in the whole thing. Um,
Did you were you concerned you would run out and not be able to continue? I mean, yeah, maybe double that up next year, right?
yeah, my main concern, and the reason why it was this way this year was because last year I didn't get a chance to fully fill the book up, and I left the farm with a lot of empty pages, which really hurt my heart. But I think part of that was because we had 3 fewer days
Well,
on the
it was
farm.
only one day.
So
I don't think it's your fault.
but even still, I was there from Tuesday till Friday morning,
Well,
it
okay,
was,
so it's
I
more than one
believe.
day, more than
So
one day.
so I had, like, 600 something signatures still, almost 700,
Wow.
and it just hurt my heart so much having so few empty or so many empty pages in the book still. So I was like, I wanna kinda just have fewer pages to make it more full of a book. So, like, every single page you look at has like at least 10 people contributing to it for the most part. And some pages are full pages, that's just like one person kind of a thing. And some have like 20 signatures on them. So for me, what I really liked about this year's edition is when you're going through the book, I mean, it's every page is just full of life. I mean, there's not a sparse page in there. With previous books, there would be pages where it's like, someone took up a lot of room, but then
5 of them on there or something.
there's lots
Yeah.
of empty space around that one thing because there's an empty page for them to like start their own thing, which is cool in its own way. And I do enjoy having all the real estate to be able to, anyone can kind of contribute as much or as little as they like and they have the room to do so. But one of the cool things is by Sunday, I mean, it was like people were having to find spaces for their contribution. They're
Mhm.
like having to look through the whole thing and see how full it is. So that experience of having like almost limited real estate by the end of the festival, I think kinda made it a little more fun just for me, just, like, seeing how full it was by the end of it, and I think having fewer pages really helped just make each page that much more lively, and as well as when it comes to producing, like, the printed version of the book once it's done, one of the things I really struggled with, in pretty much every year that I've done this is they've always been just, like, regular bound books, kind of something like this kind of a thing.
Mhm.
And so what would happen is the pages would, when I lay them down to photograph them, because I photograph each page individually for these, they don't lay completely flat when you put them down on a surface. So it took a lot of effort for me to correct that for each page and shooting it versus a spiral notebook was able to lay completely flat. So when it comes to the
Right.
production process of like recreating the book, it's going to make it a lot easier for me. And also prevented a lot of the like signed your crack kind of a thing when they like sign in the middle of the book or they go across two pages kind of a thing. Because that, when it comes time to recreate it in print, is so insanely challenging for me on
Yeah,
my
the
side and
gatefold.
took a lot of time. So production wise, I think this is going to be a lot easier for me to handle. But yeah, thinking in the future for next year's, I definitely do want at least 50 more pages just to have a little bit more real estate. I think 160
And
pages would be like perfect for this
for
project.
people who have not seen the actual book, it's high quality. You put a great deal of effort into this. And we ask you every time, you still are you making any money
Well,
at all?
no. Traditionally, I have
Yeah.
not made really much to any because I've never sold more than like 50 copies of any of my previous editions that I've done. It was more of this is a passion project. This is something I'm doing for really for the bit, for just because I enjoy doing it. Um,
Yeah.
and I kinda just wanted them for myself, and if, other people wanted one, like, that's really cool, that's great. And I didn't start doing social media for the project really until a few months before Bonnaroo last year. So it wasn't even, like, something I was really trying to promo super hard or really do much, marketing behind or anything like that. Um, and so when I transitioned into posting more videos and starting to like kind of tell people online about what it is that I was doing. And then Bonnaroo's cancellation last year, my account started going beep. And this year I sold out of books like the day after I got back from Bonnaroo, which
Awesome.
was
Oh,
a
yeah.
Good for you.
huge milestone. And this year I was able to make at least a little bit of money,
Good.
doing this
Awesome.
project, and it also helped that Bonnaroo gave me tickets this year as, like, an influencer or video creator because I applied for their media, pass kind of a thing in the back end, and so having a free ticket plus selling 100 copies this year and selling the book out was my first year, I think, actually making money off of doing
Good.
this
Good,
project,
good, good.
which
That's
felt
awesome.
really cool. And like, I'm so thankful for everyone who's supported the project and has like been there throughout this journey I've been on. and running into people from like, my camping neighbors from 2023 were there this year, and running into you guys again for, the second, third year in a row kind of a thing. So it's been really cool seeing like familiar faces on the farm. Like, oh my gosh, I've seen you guys, I feel like every year, kind of a thing. Um,
That
but
reminds me,
but
I
yeah.
wanted to mention at the st I wanted to mention at the start, but that reminds me, this community, while we are here, it's Sunday morning, while we are talking, our man Russ is either coming back or still, with our friend Lindsay, Bonnaroo, up at the secret location up in, where is it? It's near
Winchester,
Winchester,
I
near
believe. I
there,
think.
and, Evan Bonnaroo is currently, at this very minute, having lunch with our friend David Bruce in New
Oh, no
York.
way. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just so crazy, this little world, this community, um, that comes out of this festival that, Brian and I would not be friends. We wouldn't be hanging out without Bonnaroo. I wouldn't know you, Caleb. I wouldn't know Russ. I wouldn't know David. So I wouldn't know
Yeah,
Evan. I wouldn't know anybody that I just mentioned if not for this festival. So I
yeah,
just think that's worth noting. Well, good for you. I'm glad you're making a buck, or not
yeah,
losing money. Even let's
yeah,
put it
right.
that way.
Caleb, let's talk about your pet dragon or
Oh,
whatever that thing
yeah.
is, your
Yeah,
lizard
Trogdor.
thing, and talk about that, and then segue that into there's been ideas kicked around of like a children's book of sorts, or is that for real,
Yeah.
or are you joking around online? Talk about that a
Well,
little bit.
okay, so I have a bearded dragon named Trogdor. Okay, he's actually over there in his terrarium at the moment.
Yeah, you can leave him over there.
Yeah, I'll let him sleep for now, but I do have a I
Unless you
do
want to
have
get
a
him.
drawing of him, wearing that little hat, which I think is really,
Yeah.
really sweet. But the
Yeah, he
concept.
puts the hat, that little hat, he puts
Yeah,
it on the damn dragon,
yeah, so
and
I
he
I took
wears it.
I took this little hat and I just put it on his head, kind of a thing, and I took a little
Yo,
video
we'll
and I was
put it
like,
up.
"Oh my gosh, that is so cute." Like, I think that's the cutest thing. I posted it on my story, and my grandma saw it, and she was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be so cute if you did, like, a little children's book where it's, like, you and Throgmore?" She calls him Throgmore, his name's Trogdor. "Wouldn't it be so cute if the 2 of you were going around Bonnaroo and, like, going on little adventures and stuff, and he could be wearing little Crocs just like you?" And she gave this whole, like, kinda built this whole world up, and
Radiating
I'm
positivity. I love it.
yeah, yeah, just with that as the concept, and so I just kinda took that concept, and I'm not a fan of AI, and I would never publish anything with AI. However, I did use it briefly just to throw up a concept of, like, what that could look like, but then I put that on my story, and I was like, "Hey, are there any artists out there that would like to do a legitimate art rendition of this concept for potentially doing like a children's book?" And a friend of mine, Izzy, she drew this up. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so sick." And it's not my main focus at the moment to produce a children's book, but I think once I get all my projects done and they're all produced and finished, I think I would like to explore the concept of making like a Bonnaroo children's book of Trogdor and I going around in our little, outfits and spreading fleur around the farm in different ways and like telling little stories. 'Cause I just think that'd be really cute and fun. And I've actually
That is fun.
commissioned
That's
an
cool.
artist as well who is doing an 8 by 10, rendition of this as well. So it could even be where, like, each page is, drawn by a different community member or, a different artist or something like that, and I think it could be really fun concept. But I haven't done, like, any proper planning, but that's the idea floating around.
Let's talk about it real quick, Caleb. I did see one of your posts showing your early morning sunrise set that you did late night that looked pretty wild.
Yeah.
Um, what music did you see that sticks out? Like, you don't have to run through the whole list, but what did you see that really made your weekend musically?
Yeah, I would say honestly, Effen's sunrise set was personally one of my favorite music moments of, like, my Bonnaroo experience. The other musical act that had me just literally bawling my eyes out, just crying so hard was Alabama Shakes. Alabama Shakes is just
Mm.
such a
Really?
nostalgic band
They
for
made you
me,
cry?
crying my eyes out. But
It was a good set. It was
it
great. It was
was
great to
such a
see them back
beautiful
on the
set.
farm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was my first time seeing them perform live, and just the energy and the passion behind it all, and I
Yeah,
wasn't expecting it to
I
be my
get it.
favorite, but it really got me. So, I would say those are, like, my 2 biggest, like, most impactful music sets throughout the whole week, but if I'm being really honest, those are, like, the 2 that I remember the most. The rest, like, I tried to go to LSD's set on, I think it was Sunday, um, and it was, like, their last time
Yes.
performing, and I just wanted to watch the show. Like, I put my yearbook away, I put my gaiter on,
And you
I had
couldn't.
a different hat, and people still kept coming up to me and, like, wanting to sign the yearbook, and as soon as that yearbook would come out, it was like moths to a flame, man, and so I watched the first, like, maybe 25, 30 minutes of it, and it just people kept coming up, and I was like, "I need to, like, go back a little bit further in the crowd," and then by the time I got back further in the crowd, I was like, "Man, I don't remember the last time I ate today, so I need to go eat some food," so I went
Yeah.
and got some
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
and on Sunday, I was walking from, like, that main arch entrance towards Noah Khan to go to the What stage for, like, the final show, and I got about 5 minutes into Noah Khan's set, and people just kept coming up and talking to me, and not that it was a bad thing at all, but we were standing in, the crazy mud, and I was
Yeah.
just so tired, so pooped. It was nighttime, and my phone was dead, so I was just like, "Man, I need to go back to camp, just, like, reset for 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and try and catch the end of the show for the, big finale or whatever." I went back to camp and I
Crashed.
passed out. I passed
Yeah.
out so hard. Missed
Yeah.
the entire last day, woke up the next morning at, like, 6 AM, and I was like, "Oh, no." Like, "Oops."
Uh,
Um, but I had such a great
Well,
time.
those
Like,
sunrise sets, man, I still don't understand how anybody, whether they're on drugs, not on drugs, on a drink, not on a drink, on just, mental endorphin high, how people can do those sunrise sets, throw your whole,
yeah.
yeah.
the whole like inner clock out of whack.
Well,
So
I'll t
as soon as you started
I
to tell that
wasn't
story, I was like, he
even
went and passed out.
I wasn't even planning on being at the sunrise set. That was the thing. I actually got thrown on a side quest
The best
back into
time. Those are the
Centeroo
best time.
somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I was at, I think it was Gorgon City. They were playing until, I think, about, like, 5 AM or something like that, and then Effin was playing till 6 AM. And I was with a group of people getting their signatures, having a great time, and Gorgon City was ending, and I remember them saying, "Oh, we gotta go catch Effin because he ends at 6." And I packed up all my stuff, and I walked out of Centeroo by the disco ball exit. So I walked out, and there was another group of people that recognized me and wanted to sign the book, and I was trying to make my way back to camp. This was at, like, maybe 5 or 5:30 in the morning, alright? And so I leave to go to the disco ball exit. We get out, we're at the tables by Spicy Pie in that little section right there, and I'm like, "My pens!"
Man,
My pens were missing.
I saw the
I
story
had
on that.
left
Yeah.
them with the previous group that I was just sitting with, and so I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys, I have to run back and go get my pens." So I left the book with them, so they knew I would come back. I went all the way through security again to go and find them, but they were already had gone to the other set, and I was like, "I can't just leave my yearbook out there with these people for this whole venture I'm about to go on." So, I had to go back out again, get my book, and then I went to the arch entrance, and I went in and had to go and find Effen's set where he was doing his sunrise set, and I found the group that had my pens, and only because they had
Wow.
a totem, thank goodness. Their totem was, "You shall not crash." And it was Gandalf and, like, all whooped out and whatever. And so I found my pens and I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank goodness." And by that point, I was so exhausted. It was like maybe 6 o'clock in the or maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and got to see, like, the last 30 minutes or so of FN Sunrise Set. Ended up finding some friends of mine. We hung out and people were signing the book, and we were just having a great time. And then as I was leaving to go back to camp, I just kept getting stopped by people, and I didn't make it back to my camp until, like, 8 AM. From leaving Effens set at 6 to getting back to my camp took me 2 hours because
For it
people
to be
kept
blazing hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then I fell asleep from, like, 8 AM to maybe noon, and then was back out again on Sunday,
Lucky you
so
got that much.
How was your brother's room?
Oh, he had
Does
the
he
best
appreciate what
time.
he Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah,
He better,
yeah.
yeah.
He
No, I mean,
better.
good
He had
good
Area
question, Barry.
931. He had a free
Yeah.
ticket to Rue, and he got to use the clout that his brother was the yearbook guy, but then he said he had to stop telling people because then all they cared about was just finding me at that point, and like, "Oh, where is he?
Uh,
Where's your brother?"
alright, so that leads me to my 3rd. How you gonna do it next year? Are you I mean, do you we've laughed and joked that we need an intern, and
Yeah,
I'm only half
bro,
joking.
same.
Have you? Yeah, I mean, seriously, can you can't split yourself, but I
Yep.
mean, what and
I've been
obviously
thinking
that
about this a lot. I've been thinking about this a
yeah,
lot.
that's a I mean, people it's cool. I get it, I get it. People coming up and wanting to hug and take a picture is amazing. We've talked about it over and over. But at some point, you do wanna enjoy your own festival, right? You wanna watch a
Yeah, that's the
band, you
kicker.
wanna
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you don't wanna be, so, what are you gonna do? You said you're
So,
thinking about it.
yeah, my plan for next year is I wanna have, like, a yearbook club or a yearbook team or something like that that can help me with the meetups specifically, because that's where I found myself having the most like, "Oh my gosh, this is a lot." Like, because with the meetups, having 100 people in a line waiting to sign the book, and in addition to that, people coming up on the sidelines, like, left and right of me trying to just, like, tell me a little something or just give me a little
Sure,
trinket because they don't wanna wait in the entire line to sign the book
sure,
at that moment. If I could have a team of 1 or 2 people who could dedicate, like, even just, like, 2 or 3 hours to a specific day of, like, "Hey, you're gonna be the, yearbook club lead for today for this meetup." And what I think would be so helpful is someone that can just go through the line and kind of give the spiel, so to speak. Because a lot of people waiting in the line maybe have, like, let's say it's a group of 5 people, 1 or 2 of them maybe know a lot of lore about the whole thing, but then maybe they have some friends who have no idea what the project is or what's going on or, like, what the
sure,
deal is. I also have, like, started making, I don't wanna say rules, but kinda guidelines, like, trying to avoid covering someone else's signature, or, like, if you wanna make something really big, try and find a space that has the room so you're not, overlapping other people's stuff. Um, and just kinda
no
telling them,
Sharpies.
yeah, no Sharpies. Yeah, right. Kind of what the deal is, like, if you leave a trinket, it's gonna get turned into the I Spy book, so this is not a take one, leave one box. Some people thought it was a take one, leave one. I was like, "No, no, 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 this is just leave for this because it's
Yeah,
all gonna be
These are mine.
documented." Yeah,
These are
yeah,
mine.
that's a good
Yeah.
yeah.
point. That's a great point.
Um, there was a situation where a guy was covered in mud head to
Yeah, I
toe,
was
I
gonna
mean,
go here before we
gloopy,
got out of here.
sloppy
Yeah.
mud, and he wanted to put his handprint in the book on Sunday. Like, it was during the effing sunrise set after that had happened, at the end of that. He came up and was like, "Can I put my handprint inside the book?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"I love you, dude. No,
it's a good
because 'cause you're gonna
idea,
cover
but
up
no.
something else, or it's gonna be this wet, sticky mud in a paper book, and it's gonna warp the pages."
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, I'm so sorry. Um
Yeah,
and
you
all
told
kinds
the
of stuff.
story, you told the story on that on your socials, and it was pretty funny, but it got me thinking. I wondered how many others that might be inebriated in certain different ways at 4 in the morning or midnight, or maybe just a little wild in their head in this moment makes them just a little different version of themselves. I mean, do you have to kind of fight that off a little bit of
I
aggressiveness and
No,
maybe
I wouldn't
substance
say
fuel? No?
I wouldn't say it was often. There definitely were people who I was like, "Oh, they're having a good time." Like,
Oh, sure, but
you
not
can
often
tell.
though. That's interesting you say not
Yeah.
often you didn't have to deal with that.
No,
Very
and
cool.
even in those times that people were generally, like, super respective or, respectable about the process and about the book. And honestly, it was a lot less than previous years that I've experienced with this yearbook.
Hmm,
So I was really surprised at how much of a kinda mostly a non-issue it was for me this year compared to some times in the past where it's been maybe a little overwhelming or people just going crazy, like, "Well, slow down," but you're like, "Oh, hold up, take it easy." Um, but the one thing
yeah,
that
because
was really
you
tricky
might have
was
to be a little tough. Sorry, you might have to be a little tough, and it sounds like you're being a jerk potentially, and I can you're like the kindest guy I've ever talked to, so,
yeah, well,
I wondered
I'm
how
trying to
that
keep
was
the
for you.
plur
But sorry,
alive.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, and that was the thing too is like I felt really bad being like, "No, you can't do this thing," while this guy is rolling dick and balls basically, like wanting to be a part of this project, which like I totally
Right.
understand that perspective, but at the same time, when you're kind of that far off and you're wanting to put something that could potentially harm the book into the pages, I have to think about the project as a whole and the logistics side of
Sure.
things. And to be completely honest with y'all, like generally speaking, in my previous Rue experiences, like I would have those days, or I would have like a day dedicated to like I'm gonna have a fun day kind of a thing. But I did not do that at all this year because I felt like anytime someone's coming up to me, they want a picture. I need to make sure I'm keeping track of the book. I need to make sure I have all my things with me, like at all times. And like, I didn't feel like I had any room to kind of get anywhere near that
Yeah,
level of, you know,
I get
state
it.
of being kind of a thing. Cause it's like I'm a public figure to a certain degree now. Like, I have to be on my P's and Q's throughout the whole thing. Um, and so part of me is like, I kinda missed that, but it was also really fun doing sober route this year. Like, I was fully sober throughout the whole thing. Like, people would give me, like, a beer here and there, but I don't really count that, it's like, I'm not
Yeah,
getting
no,
Well, I
I
didn't
drunk,
mean sorry,
at
I
the
didn't mean to
festival.
say good as in like that's a good thing for you to do. That's a great decision to make. And I was a little curious. I didn't want to necessarily pry into your personal life,
No,
but
that's totally fair.
if you are having a few drinks, if you are having a decent time like most people do, and many of us have
Right.
done countless times, that can lead to a lot of other confusion. And where's my book? Oh my god!
yeah, yeah,
And
You
that's
that's
know,
true.
happened
and so
before, which is why I was like, I really can't do it this year because, like,
Yeah.
I cannot be, leaving my book at places going, "Oh, da, 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 da. Wait, the book!" and, running back or whatever,
Yeah.
like,
good good
I
on
have
you
to
for being
avoid that.
able to Good on you for being able to manage that. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I get it. Brian and I, we've talked about it a bunch. We've both been so many times, and every year is different. Everybody does
Mhm.
it different. Uh, People don't understand it's work,
yeah,
or at least it has been for me. Many many years. And I've always said people will ask, I bet you go up there and just get trashed or do a lot of drugs. And I'm like, number one, no, because I
yeah.
knew I didn't want to be that guy that somebody said, oh, that's the guy from the paper that's up in the tree,
Right, yeah,
tripping,
yeah,
tripping balls or whatever.
right.
So yeah, and it's work. It is a lot of work and it's an all day thing. So
The trajectory of this,
I love it.
project, this thing has been really something to see,
I
man.
love it.
And
It's been
it's
crazy. It's been
I think it's fun,
crazy.
and you do really good with your socials, man. Like I hate
Thank you.
social media more than I've ever hated something in my life at this
Sure.
point. I still
That's
enjoy I know. I mean, it is. I can't
That
take it
list is
anymore.
long.
I know. I cannot take social media and the performative, regurgitative, inauthentic, creativeless plagiarism that's out there.
Sure.
And this couldn't be further from everything I
Yeah,
just
it's so
said.
cool.
It is
Thank you.
such a unique concept that you do such a great job with, and good for you for doing it, man. And
I
I
appreciate
I
that. Thank you.
will I mean, there are so many things that I love about this, Caleb. What the trajectory, as Brian said, is one to talk to you 3 years ago and now see where it is. But when you came up to us at that little table and said, "Man, can you sign this?" and then turned and said, "I got people lined up behind me," I will never forget that image. I mean, it was like and
it's
they
a
were
big line.
and they were very patient and cool, and I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Good for you,
It was
man."
surreal. Yeah, it was a surreal experience. Like anywhere where the book came out in a fairly public area, a line would just happen to form. And I wasn't like trying to make it a big thing or be like, "Hey, here's the yearbook guy." And when you
Yeah, yeah.
guys in
"Sign
the
here."
podcast, you were like, "And
Well,
over there is the Bonnaroo Yearbook guy." I was like, "Oh no, like, this line's about to be crazy."
part of it is, though, I got to think part of it is it's herd mentality, and in Bonnaroo, herd mentality is a little different. Like if you see, like, meaning herd mentality can lead to bad things.
Sure.
Herd mentality is, hey, something's cool going on over here and I want to be a part of it. They
Yeah.
don't even have to know what it is. So that's that adds to all of this. So that's,
Yeah.
again, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's
And
been
next
amazing.
year, if your brother can't make it, man, you know my number.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll stay
Yeah, I
at
heard.
931.
There you go.